Do you want to know how to create emotional safety for little children at home? You're not alone. I'm Nicholeen Peck, and I teach all over the world about parenting, good communication, how to build strong family bonds, child development, and calmness, all through the lens of the principle self-government. And in this video, we're talking about emotions and emotional safety. In this video, we're going to talk about emotions and what creates an emotionally safe environment for little children. Then we're going to talk about key self-government skills and principles that you can use to create that emotionally safe environment at your house. Let's talk a little bit about emotions. People actually generally don't understand emotions. They don't even usually understand their own emotions. I know that sounds weird because we all have emotions, but it's absolutely true. Although children can start to understand their emotions very young. When they do not feel like their emotions are understood, they might start feeling like they're not safe at home. But let's talk about what an emotion is and what it is not at first. So first, to understand, an emotion is not the same as a feeling. Many people interchange those two terms with each other. It's not the same. You experience a feeling. Let's use a really basic feeling like I'm cold. Okay, that might be a feeling. Can I do anything about the fact that my skin feels cold? No. After I have that feeling of I'm cold, my brain has a microsecond where it has a thought. That thought about the coldness leads to what my emotion will become. So if the thought is a non-productive thought, I can end up experiencing a negative emotional response. But if my thought is a productive thought, then I could end up having a productive emotional response. So if I feel cold and then I think, oh, who's in charge of the temperature in here? They must be so hot. It's so cold in here. They must not care about me. If I think those things, then I'm going to put myself in a bad mood. When I try to talk to somebody about the temperature, I'm probably going to accuse them of something when they may not even know that anybody in the building happens to be cold. But what if I feel cold and instead I think, it feels cold in here. I wonder if the heat is actually turned on. Maybe because of the time of year it is, the heat's not turned on. I should go check and see if I can solve the problem. Suddenly, I'm taking a proactive step to solve the problem. I might, if I'm in a place that maybe I can't control the thermostat at, say, well, it's cold. I wonder if there's somebody I could go and talk to about this. And maybe I could even use one of my special self-government skills that we learn on this channel called disagreeing appropriately. So when a person experiences an emotion, it's because they've had a feeling and a thought that have preceded that emotion. We need to remember that as we're thinking about how to help our children become or feel emotionally safe. Lots of times when people talk about emotional safety, they are focusing on the child being able to share their emotions with other people and feel like they are understood. It is important for a person to be able to share all of their feelings, thoughts, and emotions, especially with their parents. However, it is not okay to non-productively unload those emotions on another person in a way that would be aggressive or controlling or manipulative in any way. So it's up to parents to teach their children how to communicate what they might be feeling or thinking or what their emotions might be at the time in a way that is not attacking, controlling, or manipulative. This means that we probably need a structure. This is where teaching self-government comes in. If you've already subscribed to this channel, then you know I teach a lot about skills. And the skills that I teach here are not just for little people, but they're for people of all ages. Adults and all ages of children need the skills and principles of self-government. Simple skills like how to follow instructions, accept no answers and criticism, accept consequences, and disagreeing appropriately could be just the thing that an adult needs in order to solve adult relationship problems at work, in the community, at church, or at home. It also is just the thing that a child needs to learn how to communicate and solve problems with their friends, family members, grandparents, and teachers. So we can start teaching them self-government by using these 4 simple skills. These 4 children's books each teach one of the 4 basic skills of self-government, which are following instructions, accepting no answers and criticism, accepting consequences, and disagreeing appropriately. When a person learns the steps to those 4 basic skills, that takes care of 99% of their behavioral problems. What a great thing to hold on to. I've got 4 skills that if I learn those, they can help me handle almost all of my problems. I know that may seem too simplistic, but it's actually true. In fact, when I was young, I had a problem getting along with my parents. I was really strong-willed, and someone challenged me to be able to say okay and be okay. Once I learned that I could say okay and be okay, every time my parents told me to do something or not to do something, my entire life changed. My relationships with my parents changed. No longer did I need to get angry, manipulative, or controlling. And you know what? Oddly enough, after that time, I didn't really feel like I had a whole bunch of emotions that my parents weren't understanding. Oftentimes when somebody has emotions that they feel like other people aren't understanding, it's usually because they don't know that there is a better way to communicate those emotions, and they're usually also trying to manipulate to get their way. Let's remember that with small children especially. Oftentimes they get overly emotional to try to control a situation. Parents need to know some skills too. So not only do we teach the 4 basic skills to the children, but we also need to know how to control ourselves. If we are not calm, then we are not safe. I'm a really strong-willed person, kind of fiery, have one of those types of personalities that I could say some pretty mean things if I wanted to. In fact, there was a time in my life when I was a young person where I did say a lot of mean things before I learned that I could just say okay and be okay. Now I'm the type of person that even if somebody is yelling in my face, I'm thinking, okay, they don't feel like anybody understands right now. I need to let them know that I understand. So instead of feeling attacked and thinking a bad thought about that other person and then attacking them back, I think, what do I need to understand about this circumstance right now? Then I think, what skill do I have to handle this problem? The Teaching Self-Government course and system of parenting teaches the skills that the parents also need so that they don't have to be angry or controlling with their children. It just isn't necessary. Not only did I raise all of my children with the self-government skills and principles, and I'm seeing my grandchildren now being raised by my children with those same skills and principles, but the most troubled children that the state had were brought to my house for therapeutic treatment care. And it was those principles of self-government that helped give them hope, helped them overcome a lot of their trauma and their behavioral issues that were stumbling blocks for them. And the way that I handled their mistakes made all the difference. So I would teach them the right way to do things, but then I would calmly tell them exactly how to do things the right way when things didn't happen correctly. I would go through what I call an effective correction. There's a lot of corrections out there, but they're not all effective. An effective correction is a type that reaches the heart and the behavior, that bonds the people together, and helps everybody understand what needs to come next. An effective correction is something that I can teach you, and I would like to. The first thing we need to work on, though, is calmness. If you really want to create an environment where your child feels emotionally safe at your house, and when you're correcting them, where they feel like this is okay, this is normal, I can be strong through this, then probably you're going to need to feel strong first. You might need your own Calmness toolkit, and I'd like to give that to you for free. I have a Calm Parenting Toolkit on my website, teachingselfgovernment.com. That toolkit right now is completely free. In fact, in the description below this video, you can click on the link that will take you directly to that Calm Parenting Toolkit. It will share with you 10 tools for calmness that you can use so that you can be self-governed while you're trying to help your children learn the skills of self-government too. I know that it can be hard when you have a child who's emotional. I know we care about how our children are feeling all of the time, and we want them to be as happy as possible. The truth is, childhood's hard. Sometimes we have days that aren't very happy. And parents can help a child navigate through those days and feel like everything's okay, especially if they have a structure and a plan to guide the way. And that's what this whole channel's about. Thanks for joining me. I hope we'll see you on the next video.